Hi, my name is Cy Porter, and this tutorial is the first in a group of tutorials about hand lettering. And basically, before computers, machine lettering gave a feeling of value to the reader because machine lettering was hard to come by and the amateur could not use it. Ironically, in the age of computers, hand lettering automatically gives the reader a sense of value in what they're reading, because anyone who hand letters is obviously putting in more mind energy into their work than someone who just gets on a computer and types out. So if you do hand lettering for your website or whatever purposes you use it for, it increases the attention that people will pay to what you're writing and draws audiences and is very effective and really gives you a chance to convey a lot more with your words than just by typing them into the computer or using any kind of machine-generated lettering. One of the artistic philosophies that come into play with hand lettering is consistent inconsistency. So what I'm going to be talking about won't use rulers and is not going for perfection, is going for consistent imperfection. That is, where there is some consistency throughout, but then if you took each small letter I in your lettering and lined them up, you'd see that there were differences among them and also a lot of consistent likenesses. Thank you for watching this tutorial. It's made so that more people can be told about an illustrated film. Episodes of the film are posted at solomation.com. All episodes will be free, available to watch at solomation.com. The hand letter, as you can see, first what I do is I just go in and I write it out, real basic, just by hand. And on the computer, you don't get hung up on the erasing and redrawing so much, because the nice thing about hand lettering on a computer is that you can get around all that by, you can go in, and if you want to make the capital C here smaller, you can just go in and change its size, move it around, line it up. And so this makes hand lettering a lot less like drudgery than it used to be in the good old days. And so one thing I'll do is I just kind of write out the letters. Another important thing to keep in mind is don't get confused by what kind of writing you'll be doing. If you're going to do cursive, stick with cursive. And if you're going to do block letters, stick with block letters. With cursive, there are different rules that apply. When you have line direction going this way, your line may be fatter than when the line direction is going that way. So once you have the letters, then you can decide to fatten this in here, thin it out, and thicken it up over here. And when you do that, so as you start to add character to each of your letters, you want to make sure it's consistent throughout. Now you can do each letter at a time. If you come across a capital C the second time, just make sure that it's following the same rules. And it does not need to be machine perfect. It's just that you need to know what rules you're applying consistently to each letter. One consistency I noticed that contributes to a pleasurable reading of the letters rather than, someone who sees the letters and comes away with not a good feeling, is that the letters are consistent in height overall. And like any rule, that can be changed. If you're going to warp the letters or have the letters conform to a wave pattern, then that won't apply. But if your letters are going to, in a lot of cases, you want them to be the same height. And so you have the overall height of the letters. And of course, caps and small letters have different heights. Then you have another measurement, which is this down here, which could be where the height at which, like, the C and then the small e, this part here ends. And it's good to have that consistent throughout. And it's good to be consistent with how much you slant the letters. The more you think of this as a creative process, the better. I would hope that anyone interested in hand lettering would do it for creative reasons, because if you're a perfectionist, go for the mechanical generated ones, because every C is going to be exactly like every other C, and it will be machine perfect.